I was out of money. Rent was due. My last freelance contract had ghosted me, and I was too burned out to keep applying for jobs that never called back. That's when I started searching deeper. Forums, back channels, anywhere that posted quick cash work without background checks. One thread led me further than I'd gone before. It wasn't the darkest part of the web. Not weapons or red rooms, but it was buried. A gray market board for private jobs, testing gigs, off-the-record consulting. The post was simple. Cognitive trial, healthy participants needed. 1 week, $4,500. Private sponsor, discretion required. No company listed, no contact form, just a burner email. I knew it was risky, but I was tired of bouncing checks and eating expired food. I sent a message. 2 hours later, I got a reply. A PDF with a non-disclosure clause and a strange screening questionnaire. Height, weight, blood type. Then came the cognitive section. Do you recall your dreams? How often do you experience déjà vu? Have you ever felt watched while alone? I filled it out and sent it back. A day later, a black van pulled up in front of my building. No license plates, no words exchanged, just a sealed envelope handed to me through a tinted window. Inside was a location, a time, and a reference code. Protocol Neuro 121B. The clinic was 2 hours outside the city. An empty office park, frosted windows, no signage. Inside, everything was white and gray, too sterile to feel real. I was stripped of all electronics and personal belongings. My ID was never checked. I signed a final waiver, received a wristband labeled 121B, and was escorted to a sleeping unit. There were no clocks, no phones, no internet. The first 2 days were manageable. Tests mostly, short-term memory recall, logic puzzles, shape matching. They fed me at the same time every day, but I never saw a clock or heard another participant. On day 3, they began giving me pills. I was told they were a cognitive stimulation compound, part of the trial. They made my thoughts speed up for a while, then fog over like glass cooling too fast. I began losing track of time. I'd close my eyes and not know if an hour had passed or 10. My dreams became vivid. I started seeing the clinic in them, but wrong. One dream repeated itself. I was standing in my room, looking up at the ceiling camera. The red light blinked, then opened like an eye. It blinked back. When I woke up, my wristband had changed. It now read 121C. I hadn't noticed anyone enter the room while I slept. The tests changed after that. I was shown violent footage and asked to match it to abstract words. I was asked to recall false events, memories that didn't belong to me. My head ached constantly. On what I assumed was day 5, I woke up in a slightly different room. The bed was colder, the lighting felt off. There was a chair in the corner that hadn't been there before. Sitting in it was me, my own face, eyes closed, still. I blinked, and the chair was empty again. The staff never addressed it. That night, the pill was a different color. I took it anyway. When I opened my eyes again, I wasn't in the clinic. I was in what looked like a recovery ward. A nurse smiled at me. I was told I had been stable for several weeks, that I had undergone treatment. My name was different. When I tried to access my burner email to check the original forum post, the credentials failed. The thread was gone. I asked to contact someone from my old life. A call was made, but the voice on the other end didn't recognize me. I couldn't say my own name. Not because I forgot it, but because I felt unsure it had ever belonged to me. The walls in the new clinic were warmer, less sterile, more human. But something was wrong. Every morning I was updated with progress notes I didn't remember agreeing to. Eventually, I stopped trying to argue. On the last day, I was given a sealed envelope and told I was cleared for reintegration. I stepped out into sunlight that felt too bright. The bus I took home passed streets I didn't remember. When I arrived at what I thought was my apartment, someone else was living there. My key didn't fit the lock. None of the neighbors recognized me. I sat on the curb and opened the envelope. Inside was a typed note. No logo, no signature. It read, "Thank you for completing Protocol Neuro 121B. Your identity has been successfully processed." That was it. I stayed in the city for another week, trying to piece together anything that felt familiar. No friends, no digital trail, no records of my name on file anywhere. I checked the original clinic address, but the building was empty. No signage, no lease. I walked its halls anyway. In the back stairwell, someone had scratched something into the drywall, barely visible in the light. 121B was not the first. That night, I dreamt of the room again, the blinking camera, the eye that wasn't an eye. When I woke up, I was wearing the bracelet again. I used to think the dark web was mostly fake. All the stories you hear, hitmen for hire, red rooms, secret marketplaces selling anything you can dream of, they felt like urban legends. Scary, sure, but still fictional. I worked in IT. I knew how the internet worked. I thought I was smarter than the myths. It was late one night when I decided to dig deeper than I ever had. No real plan, just following link after encrypted link, letting my curiosity pull me further into the unknown. That's when I found the thread about Clean Sweep. The forum posts talked about it like a ghost story, a hidden service, a cleanup crew you could hire for your problems. The link was buried under warnings, redirections, encrypted puzzles. Part of me thought it was all an elaborate hoax. But after about 20 minutes of decoding, I found myself staring at a site that didn't feel fake. It was too simple to be fake. Black background, white text, a menu with 3 options: disposal, correction, erasure. Beneath each, a sliding scale of prices ranging from a few hundred to tens of thousands. There were no descriptions, no pictures, no flashy banners, just clinical simplicity. I laughed nervously. It had to be a scam, right? I clicked correction out of pure boredom. When it asked for an address, I didn't dare put my own. Instead, I typed in a random house 2 streets over, a place I passed on walks but knew nothing about. I figured nothing would happen. Maybe I'd get spammed. Maybe some phishing emails. I clicked submit. The page instantly refreshed with a message: order received, await confirmation. No credit card request, no Bitcoin wallet prompt. I stared at the screen for a minute, half expecting a jump scare, half expecting nothing. Eventually, I closed my browser and went to bed. Around midnight, flashing lights woke me up. I stepped outside into the humid night air, joining the small crowd gathering at the end of the block. From 2 streets over, I could see thick black smoke rising into the sky. Fire trucks, police cars, neighbors standing in their pajamas, whispering. I overheard someone say a woman lived there alone. They hadn't pulled anyone out. The fire was still under investigation, but unofficially, probably electrical. Someone said, maybe she left a stove on. I stood there frozen, the weight of the night pressing down on me. The address, it was the one I submitted. I told myself it was a coincidence. It had to be. I tried to sleep when I got home, but every noise in the dark sounded louder than normal. The creak of the floorboards, the groan of the pipes, the soft hum of my computer fan. Morning light barely calmed me. I kept replaying the night over and over until I almost convinced myself it was random. Until I opened my front door. A small package sat on my welcome mat. No label, no sender, just a plain brown box with my name printed in crisp black ink. Inside, a single sheet of paper, service rendered, payment due. Invoice total, $17,350. Underneath, the itemized list read simply, correction completed. And at the bottom, payment must be made within 7 days to avoid transfer of liability. There was a Bitcoin wallet address, no instructions, no threats spelled out, but the message was clear. At first I laughed, a bitter, choking laugh. It had to be a scam, right? They must have pulled my info when I accessed the site. They were bluffing, but as the day went on, doubt crept in. That evening, I noticed a black sedan parked across the street. It wasn't any car I recognized. It idled for hours, headlights off. Later that night, the phone calls started. No caller ID, just bursts of static. Once I heard breathing, slow, calm, patient. I stopped sleeping. Every sound at night felt magnified. Footsteps on the sidewalk became soldiers marching toward my door. Leaves rustling against the windows sounded like fingers tapping. Even the whir of my fridge compressor kicking on set me into a spiral of paranoia. On the third day, a second package arrived. Inside, a single bullet wrapped carefully in cloth. I called the police. Hung up halfway through dialing. What was I gonna say? Hi, I ordered a hitman on the dark web as a joke, and now I think they're mad at me? Even if they believed me, I was implicated. I was the one who clicked submit. I was the one who entered the address. On the fourth day, my front door lock had new scratches around it. No break-in, just a warning. They wanted me to know they could get in, whenever they wanted. By the fifth day, I started hallucinating sounds. I'd hear knocks at the door, open it, find no one there. I thought I saw figures watching from the tree line across the street. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw flames and heard the crackle of burning wood. I stopped eating, stopped answering texts. I disconnected everything. And still, it wasn't enough. I sold my car, liquidated my savings. On the sixth night, I stood outside under the dead streetlight, transferring the Bitcoin. Every key press felt heavier than the last. After it confirmed, I went back inside and locked every bolt. I didn't sleep that night, waiting for something to happen, but nothing came. The seventh day passed quietly. The black sedan was gone, no more packages, no more calls. It was as if they had never existed. But sometimes at night I still hear things. Scratches at the window, static humming from the walls. I don't know if it's in my head, or if they're just reminding me that when you reach into the dark, sometimes something reaches back. And sometimes you have to pay the price. I work in cybersecurity. That's probably what makes this even harder to admit, because I should have known better. I spend my days dealing with phishing scams, DDoS attacks, malware threats. I've given presentations warning others about how easy it is to get tricked. I'd always thought I was immune. It started with a text message. It said it was from my mobile carrier, warning that my account had been compromised and would be suspended unless I verified it. The link looked official, clean, professional, even HTTPS secure. I was half distracted, standing in line at the grocery store, and without thinking, I clicked it. The page loaded perfectly, matching my carrier's branding down to the fine print. It asked me to confirm my number, then input a code they sent me by text. I did it without hesitation. 30 minutes later, standing in my kitchen, I noticed my phone had no service. I rebooted it. Still dead. I pulled up my laptop to check my account. Locked out. Bank app, locked out. Gmail, Facebook, Twitter, everything locked. Passwords changed. Recovery options wiped. They had control of everything tied to my phone number. It's called SIM swapping. They impersonated me with my carrier, had the number transferred to a SIM card they owned. With it, they reset my passwords, authenticated logins, and hijacked my entire digital identity. The bank drained my savings within the hour. Emails went out to family and friends asking for emergency help. Some even sent money. My social had posted strange, cryptic messages before being deleted altogether. I called the police. They said there was nothing they could do. Report it to your bank, they said. I called my bank. They opened a fraud case but told me it could take months to resolve, if it could be resolved at all. By midnight, I had a new phone number, new passwords, and I'd managed to freeze the few accounts I had left. I thought maybe I'd survived the worst of it. I was wrong. 2 nights later, I got an email from an address I didn't recognize. No subject line, just a message inside. We're not finished. Attached were dozens of files, screenshots of emails I'd deleted years ago, drafts I never sent, photos I thought were long gone. They had pulled everything from old cloud backups, accessed with my compromised accounts. And that was just the beginning. Over the next few days, private information about me started appearing on random forums, leaks of my old bank statements, college transcripts, even medical records. At first, it was subtle, then it escalated. Fake social profiles popped up using my name and photos, but with horrifying content. Racist posts, violent threats, things I would never say. Employers, friends, family members received links to these profiles, proving what kind of person I really was. My reputation crumbled almost overnight. Job offers were rescinded. Friends stopped returning calls. My own brother asked if everything was okay, in a tone that suggested he didn't believe my denial. I tried everything, cleaning up accounts, posting statements, contacting sites to remove false information. It didn't matter. Every time I cleaned something up, 10 more fake profiles appeared. The worst part was realizing this wasn't random. It wasn't just opportunistic hackers. Someone had hired them. In dark corners of the web, there are services for this. Networks of hackers, reputation destroyers, personal wrecking crews. For the right price, you can pay them not just to hack someone, but to erase their life. I know that sounds paranoid. It sounded paranoid to me too, until I found a post on a darknet forum advertising it openly. Ruination packages starting at $5,000. Complete takedown of digital and real-world reputation. Custom harassment options available. Seeing it spelled out so plainly made me physically ill. I tried to rebuild my life. I moved apartments, changed my name legally, bought a burner phone, avoided social media. But no matter what I did, the harassment followed. I started getting texts again. No number, no contact name. Just messages like, "We see you. You can't hide. New city, same you." Some nights my doorbell would ring once, at 3 a.m., and when I looked, there was no one there. Packages would arrive with no return address, containing nothing inside but USB drives or empty envelopes. Once, a package had nothing but a single photo inside. An overhead shot of me sleeping, taken through the cracked blinds of my bedroom window. I don't think they want money. I think they just want to see how far they can push before I snap. I thought about going to the FBI, but what could I tell them? That ghosts on the internet are after me? That someone somewhere paid good money to ruin a nobody's life? They wouldn't believe me. So now I live quietly, cash only, changing phones every few months, no permanent address, no digital footprint. Sometimes, late at night, I imagine them, whoever paid for this, sitting behind a screen somewhere, smiling, because no matter what I do, they won. They took everything from me, my job, my friends, my family, my identity. I don't exist anymore. Only a hollow version of me remains. And somehow, they still know where to find it.